Charlie Kirk was.
Yeah.
And he was not murdered for his opinions on transgenderism, obviously. He was, I believe, and most people who knew him well, as I did, and was friends with him as I was, believe he was most likely murdered for his evolving views on it. So I get it. A lot's at stake. The world is at stake. But from my perspective, I have a duty to say what I think is true. I'm often wrong. And I always say that because it's a fact. I have been wrong a lot, and I may be wrong now. But I am sincere. I'm saying what I believe is true, and I'm going to continue doing that no matter what.
The internet was waiting how would Tucker Carlson respond to Candace revealing what he told her about Erica. According to Candace, Tucker believed Erica was strongly against Little Huts, but that was before Charlie passed. What makes this even stranger is that just 3 months after her husband's unaliving, Erica went on a book tour in December 2025 and was out there pushing hard for Little Huts. People immediately smelled something off. Then Tucker spoke out, and what followed was one of the biggest internet meltdowns we've seen in a long time. So let's untangle this timeline.
It's this July 20th thing that it suddenly dawned on me. What was bothering me about Erica being introduced pro-Israel and being pro-Israel on stage in the midst of everything Charlie was going through. July 20th-ish, Charlie vacationed in Maine for a couple of weeks. Okay, so let's just say from July 20th to July 30th, he went off radar. And this is when Mikey McCoy and Elizabeth McCoy joined them for the first time on vacation. And they capture all these images that we're then going to see as soon as Charlie's assassinated. And then it dawned on me, I totally forgot something. Okay. And I'm just going to have to ask Tucker for forgiveness for sharing this because I knew that there was something bothering me about this Maine vacation. I had a baby. And I think I blacked out after Charlie's assassination and didn't remember that I went up to Maine too. I went up to Maine with my husband in July. Okay. My son was born on May 1st. We were off air. And then the first thing I did was I went with my newborn, Roman, and my husband up to Maine to do Tucker's show.
Candace shares on her show how Charlie and Erica visited Tucker in Maine. During that time, Tucker allegedly said Erica was strongly against Little Huts. Then Tucker goes on record saying he believes Little Huts may have had something to do with Charlie's unaliving. What a bombshell timeline! And the internet completely lost it. Blake Neff was the first to fire back. He tweeted, "Actually, those of us who knew Charlie best, a group that doesn't include Tucker, do think that TR did it and was motivated by trans radicalism. Tucker is lying." Bold claim, except he got community noted almost immediately. Then the comments came in hot. Someone wrote, "I would love to see you say that to his face. You won't because you're too much of a coward to come out from behind your keyboard." Another person went straight at him. "You didn't even know him. You were an employee. You absolute loser."
I promise you, I forgot that. I forgot that I had this. I forgot that I went up to Maine until I was looking at this Erica speech. And I was like, I know what is bothering me about this speech. What's bothering me about this speech is that when I got off air with Tucker, obviously you just have chatter, like just chatter in the air, like about everything you just discussed and what's happening and everything we said there. We're talking about Epstein.
Blake clapped back. "I spoke with him in person nearly every day, traveled with him, crafted his debate answers with him. I knew him very well. But the crowd wasn't buying it." One person wrote, "Okay, Neff, I can truly say 1000% Charlie would hate the little keyboard troll you've become. Honestly, I know that because the entire world hates you for this." And Trisha Hope added, "Tucker was a very close friend of Charlie's. You are the liar. No one trusts any of you." So, were Charlie and Tucker actually close? Or is Blake right? Let's bring in Andrew Colvert. Think about this for a second. Tucker was praised as Charlie's great friend for as long as he stuck to the official narrative. The moment Tucker said he believed Little Huts were connected to Charlie's unaliving, suddenly Tucker's not in the inner circle anymore. Colvert himself had called it a deep, meaningful friendship. That flip is something else, guys. Nilo X put it plainly, Blake Neff was Charlie's employee. Their relationship began and ended there. Candace, Tucker, and John Mappin were Charlie's friends. It appears Turning Point employees have forgotten their place in Charlie's world now that he's not around to correct them. And that hits different when you consider Erica's recent appearance at TPUSA, where she told everyone, "You know your marching orders. Go do." Based on everything unfolding, it's looking like some of them still haven't figured out how to do anything useful or truthful. Now, let's talk about who jumped on Blake Neff's claims and ran with them on X. Nilo X put together a screen grab showing exactly who was out there spreading the narrative that Tucker and Charlie weren't close, so Tucker's account of events couldn't be trusted.
And Tucker said to me, and I'm obviously, I'm not going to get this verbatim, but he was like, yeah, he talked about a SAS speech, and he just said they're like, taking money from Charlie because of this whole speech. And I was like, yeah, Charlie's kind of coming over to our side. He's really had an awakening about this. It's crazy that I forgot this, but it's the second part of what he said to me. He said, I just had dinner with him and Erica. They were just here. I think he said like last night. I kid you not. They were just there in Maine having dinner with Tucker. I remember this. I am 1000% certain. Days within me, it was like Charlie was there and then I was there. And he had dinner with Erica, and he said something, which is the reason why I was happy when they announced that Erica was going to be CEO, because before we could have ever known that Charlie was going to be, as we were sitting here in Maine talking about what the pressure that Charlie was under, Tucker was like, I absolutely love Erica. He said this publicly 1,000 times, so I'm not revealing anything here. And he was like, she is like hardcore on the anti-rail train.
The list? Ben Shapiro, Rob Schneider, Seth Dillon, Melissa Tate, Jeremy Boring, Josh Hammer, Alex Clark. There they all are, lined up, pushing the same story. The logic being sold was simple. If Tucker and Charlie weren't really friends, then Tucker saying Little Huts had something to do with Charlie's unaliving must be false. Convenient, right? The group chat must have been absolutely on fire after Colvert opened his mouth and complicated everything. Then Jimmy Dore took it to a live audience and went completely off, very much in his signature unfiltered style. The crowd was with him. People are done with both Neff and Colvert. Andrew is out here trying to build an Instagram influencer career off Charlie's following, while Neff keeps insisting he and Charlie were practically best friends. The comments said everything. Someone wrote, "They keep forgetting the internet exists." Another person pointed out something sharp.
I really want people to understand, Tucker, you and Charlie had such a unique and special bond and relationship. It was a deep friendship, and you both had each other's back in an incredible way.
He had my back.
You had his back too. I know
smokes.
those stories as well.
Yeah, and I promised I wouldn't get into any of that, but I will say, and I'm not going to, but I will say, because I want this to be about Jesus and his love for Jesus and what he did to spread the word of Jesus throughout the world. But I will just say this, that whenever I would come and do a gig for you guys, which was a lot because I really enjoyed it, and he was so kind to invite me and defend my being there, but I would always, he's the only person I did this with, I would always say, hey, let's like meet in my hotel room or have a meal. Like, I loved talking to him. And it wasn't just to catch up on everything that's going on in the political world. He would always bring it back to God every single time. And it was there's no one around. Like, so he didn't need to be like, oh yeah, I really love God. It was like just us. And he'd be talking about that.
And you would come to Phoenix and you would reach out to, it was like, I have so many memories of Charlie being like, I gotta do dinner. Who are you doing dinner with? Oh, Tucker's in town. I gotta meet up with him.
Always. And he was so intellectually curious and flexible. And I think that also grew out of his Christian faith. And I know that as I've gotten older, it's been one of the things I appreciate most about believing in God is like you can admit when you were wrong.
So wait, now Charlie had no friends outside of TPUSA stuff? None? Not one? I don't think that's the flex Blake thinks it is. Actually, it strengthens our case that they encapsulated him. That one hit hard. And this comment really brought it home. At a certain point in the not-too-distant future, this group will separate and go their own ways. If they had split a few months ago, the damage may have been limited to TPUSA, but now it's so obnoxious that anywhere these people go will likely be boycotted. What you do follows you, period. But just when you thought it couldn't get wilder, Laura Loomer jumped in. She claimed she was Charlie's close friend and that he even sought her advice in the weeks before his unaliving. Charlie and Laura close confidants. The internet wasted no time dismantling that claim. She posted on X, in the weeks before he was unalived, Charlie Kirk was concerned about the growing threat of the woke Reich polluting people's minds with hatred, and he was very alarmed by the Islamification of America. So Laura claims she made a post critical of certain personalities she believed were bringing Charlie down, and instead of pushback, Charlie allegedly invited her to his office. She says 2 weeks before his unaliving, she flew out to Arizona to meet with his team and help strategize against what she called the woke Reich and growing threats. She even claims a senior TPUSA official told her they had serious security concerns about potential violence, which is why the office doors were always locked with key access only. But here's where it gets messy.
Oh shit, we got caught fucking lying again. These guys are the worst liars in the world, and it's so easy to catch them because it's hard to keep track of lies. You don't have to keep track of the truth, you have to keep track of lies, and that's why these guys keep stepping on their dick before they get out of bed every day, because they're the biggest bunch of fucking liars in the world, and they were definitely in on the cover-up of Charlie Kirk's assassination, if not in on the assassination. And that's my opinion. What a this guy, and they're still doing the Charlie Kirk show. That's not the Charlie Kirk show. It's the two dicks who were in on covering up Charlie Kirk's assassination show. I guess that doesn't have a ring to it, huh? Let's listen
really
again.
Want people to understand, Tucker.
I really want people to understand. He really wants people to understand.
You and Charlie had such a unique and special bond and relationship. It was a deep friendship, and you both had each other's back.
Almost immediately, people dug up her own tweets, and what they found told a completely different story. From July 13th, Laura herself had posted, "I don't ever want to hear Charlie Kirk claim he's pro-Trump ever again." After this weekend, I'd say he has revealed himself as a political opportunist, and I have had a front row seat to witness the mental gymnastics these last 10 years. Lately, Charlie has decided to behave like a charlatan, claiming to be pro-Trump one day while he stabs Trump in the back the next. TPUSA was only able to thrive thanks to the generosity of President. So which is it? Were they aligned and strategizing together, or was she publicly torching him just weeks before his passing? The contradiction is impossible to ignore, and she's not alone in this pattern. There's a growing list of people, pastors, commentators, public figures, all suddenly claiming they had deep, private, game-changing conversations with Charlie right before he passed. Frank Turek is on that list. It keeps growing. Candace came in sharp, "Hey Laura, can you share the text messages of Charlie seeking advice from you regarding the woke Reich and inviting you to TPUSA? He thought you were a total nut job, so this is surprising that he suddenly needed your advice right before he was unalived." Then Milo jumped in and absolutely did not hold back. "If this is true, I will pay her $1 million cash. No one has ever wanted to strategize with Laura Loomer. You might as well attempt a waltz with a turnip or do calculus with frog spawn." The comments erupted. X was in full frenzy mode over this one. Now, could there be any truth to it? Some people have pointed out that Charlie may have reached out after her July post precisely because of what she said about him not supporting the right people. He was still very much active in those circles, still vocal, still in contact with key figures right up until his unaliving. But Laura's version of events and the receipts people are finding, they are not matching up. Personally, there's a real chance Charlie and Laura were on decent terms. At some point, Charlie was known for reaching out to people he disagreed with, but seeking her advice, that's a stretch. He may have invited her for a conversation, maybe even for content purposes, a spot on the Charlie Kirk show someday. But everything beyond that sounds like a story that only exists in one person's head. And the timing doesn't add up at all. Laura is out here claiming Charlie was deep into the woke Reich conversation with her, but that term was barely even in circulation back then. Then she has the nerve to say Andrew Colvert can confirm her story. Andrew Colvert, the same person who has been caught planting information while watching Candace get dragged across the internet? No thanks. That confirmation means nothing. If any of this were real, she would have said it the moment Charlie passed, not months later when the heat is on. The very first thing out of her mouth would have been, "Charlie sought my advice 2 weeks before his unaliving." But it wasn't. Silence for nearly a year, then suddenly this story appears. When Candace pressed her for receipts, Laura claimed Charlie called her didn't text, conveniently called, and that Tyler Boyer and Andrew Colvert can both confirm it. She also attached texts from June 2025, where Charlie wrote, "What the fuck is the Hodge twins issue? Like, actually. Anti-Semitism, just like Candace. Hope you're done with them after this. Loads of J haters." Candace has gone off the deep end. But wait, she said, 2 weeks before his unaliving in September, Yet the texts are from June. That's not 2 weeks, that's 3 months. And in June, Charlie was at the White House trying to stop the war. These texts prove nothing except that Charlie was still very much in his own lane. Here's what's critical. Charlie never denounced Candace in those texts. And according to the actual timeline, June was precisely when Charlie's views were beginning to shift and evolve. A June text showing surface-level frustration tells us nothing about where his head was by September. Even people inside TPUSA confirmed he was growing increasingly frustrated as time went on. We saw it ourselves in his own interviews with Megyn Kelly, on his own show, speaking with Ben Shapiro. One comment nailed it perfectly. You probably lack the insight to see how disgusting this interaction, if real, makes you. The evidence of the pressure campaign continues. Totalitarian behavior, nothing the American people love more. And that's exactly what this looks like. Laura has admitted multiple times that she's constantly in powerful people's ears, pushing her version of events about Tucker, Candace, and others. Now she's telling on herself she tried the same thing with Charlie, and based on what we can see, he ignored it. Because if he hadn't, that would have been the very first screenshot she posted. So let me know what you think in the comments. Were Tucker and Charlie actually close friends? And did Charlie really want to be seeking advice from Laura Loomer right before his unaliving? Drop your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, share it, and if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another episode. See you in the next one.